One Way Treatment Incorporated helps victims of domestic abuse by addressing a crucial part of the rebuilding process. The organization's trained cosmetologists and stylists offer services free of charge to help these women rebuild their self-esteem. Joining me this morning are Silvia Via. She is CEO and founder of Una Viva and One Way Treatment Incorporated. Also with us this morning, Kika Marques, the marketing director for One Way Treatment. Welcome to Urban Update, ladies. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Sylvia, let me start with you. Just talk to me about One Way. Talk to me about your organization and what you're trying to do.
Sure. So this is the third annual 10-10 Life is But a Dream event, and the reason why I have it on 10-10 is I myself am a survivor of domestic violence, starting from the youth level all the way through my adulthood. And I have two programs. My girls program, I try to advocate young girls to participate in sports, to talk about their self-esteem, encourage them to do something after school, and it just really helps them to care about their bodies. In our women's program, we give them makeovers to, again, lift the self-esteem after they've been through something traumatic. Back to why I do it on 10-10, because I am a survivor of domestic violence, I got to celebrate my life. So I do it every year now, not because let's have a birthday party for me, it's because 4 women a day die from domestic violence, so we need to celebrate their dreams.
Kika Marques, now you're the marketing director. Talk to me about the big event you have coming up.
So the event is called, as Via said, the third annual 10-10 Life is But a Dream event. It's going to take place on Wednesday, October 10th at the Langham Hotel in Boston. The minimum donation to attend the event is $50. And you can either pay online, and you can find the link at on our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/onewaytreatmentinc, or you can mail a check. If you decide to buy the ticket at the door, the price will go to $75, and at the door you can only pay with cash or by check.
And this, again, this is a fundraiser for the program, One Way Treatment. Sylvia, hairstylist, makeup artist, cosmetologist. Talk to me about, what does that do for women who are victims of domestic violence?
All women have their own insecurities. We definitely all do. So we all feel great when we get our hair done. We all feel great when we get our nails and feet done. If we feel like we're pampered. So imagine if you've been brutally attacked or you've been abused, you have scars on your face. Immediate gratification is you automatically feel better about yourself. These women have long-lasting wounds, so if we can teach them maybe how to pull their hair to the side, hide a scar, maybe teach them how to apply makeup over a scar, or how to dress for their new life or a new job, things like this, then it just really gives them, and it's a woman thing, it's very intimate, so you're empowering them.
And again, you started this organization really out of your own personal experience.
Right, exactly, and it started from Guatemala, my childhood abuse, all the way leading to my adulthood. And the two main tools that got me through everything was obviously I played sports. 90% of women executives who succeed played sports. And then I went back to school for aesthetics because of my horrible scars that I had on my body. So I incorporated these two tools in my life to help other women. And
when you talk about sports and young girls, talk to me about the value of sports in sort of guarding against or domestic violence.
Right, well, the stronger you are, the better physically fit you are. It helps you with everything. The more you value your body and the more you participate in things, you're not going to let other people violate your body.
Kika Marques, you're not a domestic abuse victim yourself, but you have some personal reasons for getting involved in this organization.
Yeah, so I'm a Boston University student, and one of my best friends, actually I have a couple of friends, but the main reason was one of my best friends was suffering through it, and she was suffering through it for 2 years, and no one ever really found out, and it got so bad that I found out about it and I helped her, and I finally got her break free from it, and it was very hard for her, and I actually met Via at a fundraiser. And when she told me about her, her organization, I knew I had to be a part of it, especially to stand up for my friends and all the women that suffer through it.
And I guess, Sylvia, I'll give you the last word here. I guess, what would you like everyone to know about your event, and really why you would like them to come out and support it?
I would like everyone to come out to support because I feel like between bullying, abuse. It's a growing epidemic, not just in the United States, but how women are being treated around the world.
Okay, and once again, it's going to be October 10th?
Wednesday, October 10th at the Langham Hotel in Boston.
And tickets?
It's $50 and $75 at the door.
And you can find them online?
Yes.
Yes,
One
or you
week.
can mail a check.
Okay, all right, okay. I think we put it up there on the screen now where they can get their tickets. Well, ladies, thanks for coming in, and good luck with the big event.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Well, coming up on Urban Update, stepping out against breast cancer. Join 7 NBC and CW56 for the Making Strides Against Breast Cancer Walk. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Urban Update. I'm Byron Barnett. Well, during the 20th century, women made significant economic and political and social advances, but in general are far from enjoying gender equality. Throughout the United States, women earn less than men, are seriously underrepresented in political office, and make up a disproportionate share of people in poverty. Joining me this morning to elaborate on the status of women are Diana Huang. She is a founder and executive director of the Asian American Women's Political Initiative, and she's also a board member of the Boston Women's Fund. Silvia Via, she's CEO and founder of Una Via and One Way Treatment, which is a domestic violence program. Christina Knowles from the Greater Boston chapter of the National Organization for Women, and Victoria Budson, who is chairperson of the Massachusetts Commission on the Status of Women. Welcome to Urban Update, ladies. Thanks for coming in. I'd kind of like to sort of start this out with kind of a general question. Perhaps maybe you, Victoria Budson, just on the status of women from your perspective. What do you think? Where are we on the status of women in Massachusetts, the United States, wherever you want to go?
Well, what's really interesting is here in the United States, we tend to really pride ourselves in having equality and being at the forefront of democracy. And though that is true in many ways, when we look at how women are doing nationally, what we see is when it comes to women's political participation, the best we've ever done is 17%, which, to give you context globally, that means that the next country below us in representation is Turkmenistan.
Wow.
Wow, we are 80th in the world, which gives us a lot of pause. And when it comes to education, women are now achieving at the same rates and above that of their male counterparts. When it comes to health, women's health, particularly for women of color, much, much, much lower outcomes than counterparts within the US and in all other industrialized nations. And when it comes to economics, we have a tremendous amount of work to do, both nationally and here in Massachusetts.
We're going to get into that. Diana Huang, I guess from your perspective, what are the biggest battles, biggest issues, the status of women from your perspective?
That's always a complicated question, right? The general status of women. I think Victoria covered it really well, but I mean, our positions, the number of positions in power that women of color and women have. I mean, when we talk about, we're making great strides. In Massachusetts, we've elected our first as Asian American women mayor and Asian American woman legislator in the last couple of years. So we're making strides, but at the same respect, these stats, nationally there's only 5 women of color in Congress. That's definitely a problem, but I think there are health disparities as well that are serious problems.
Now, Christina Knowles, women are outpacing men in education, getting better, more degrees, better grades in school. But at the same time, why do we have these disparities when it comes to economic power and the corporate power?
That's a great question. As you said, we have 57% of college graduates are women, 50% of medical schools are women, almost 50% of law schools are women, and yet we only have, as of 2008, there were only 6 women in the entire country that had ever been department chairs of surgery, in the entire country. And 11% of the largest firms in the country, law firms in the country, hadn't had a single single woman on their governing board. So there are a lot of disparities, and so we see that women, we had an interesting conversation right before the show started, that women are making these great strides, but we just can't get there. And I think a lot of it is still inherent sexism is going on. Many businesses are not family friendly, so women are still being the primary caregivers of small children and elderly or sick relatives. It's not possible.
Silvia Via, Larry, now you are the businesswoman here on the panel. You have your own business. I guess as an entrepreneur, I guess what do you see are the major challenges for women in business? You're running your own business. Do you find many women like you running their own businesses?
Right. For me, thank God I have support system. I am a single mom, but what's happening is the reason why a lot of women aren't owners of businesses is you have to make sure you have to take care of your kids. You are, as she said, the caregivers of everything. And when you're really running businesses, you're feeding your family. One of your main priorities is how are you going to run this business day to day, every single day, and it doesn't stop. This is a 7-day-a-week thing, almost 24 hours thing, and that's one of the biggest problems is that. But at the same time, as a woman entrepreneur, I have benefited from a lot of the programs, being a woman and minority, and I advise any woman, if they can, to try, because there are a lot of advantages as well, to especially being a mom.
Well, with these disparities, are they being addressed anyway? I mean, does anybody have any theories on why they're not being addressed? If women are doing better in education, why aren't they rising to the corporate offices as much?
Well, one of the things that we see is women are doing very well breaking down barriers to entry. So when you look at the law firms, when you look at both schools of medicine, fellowships, matches at hospitals, and in many of the big professions, we see that women can get in. But when it comes to promotion, what the research shows, for example, at Harvard University in the Women in Public Policy program, is that we end up in a situation where promotion isn't done in a group. Promotion is usually done on a case-by-case basis. And when one is choosing one, and looking case by case, people tend to revert to whatever their inherent biases are. People tend to like to promote people who look like them and who live like them. And what we find is if we can change promotion and hiring practices so that one is looking at the group, then people begin to stop looking at race and gender and to hone in on characteristics of achievement.
Okay.
So we need interventions such as that.
We're going to take a little break right here. When we come back, we're going to continue our discussion about the status of women in Massachusetts and the United States. Stay with us. We'll be right back. And I'm back discussing the status of women in America with our distinguished panel here. What about the so-called war on women? What do you make of that? I mean, we're still having arguments about abortion, reproductive rights, Planned Parenthood, whether it should be funded or not. Here in Massachusetts, at least the Democrats are trying to elect the first female, statewide, other than lieutenant governor. The war on women. Is there a war on women? Do you feel that way?
Absolutely. I mean, and what the funny thing is, as women, we care about jobs and the economy and foreign affairs and the environment, but we've been cornered into defending our rights and our well-being as women. We care about healthcare, not just solely, about abortion and contraception, but with the rhetoric, with the initiatives that have been taken on at the federal level, we now have to vote as women.
What do you make of the fact that we're talking about these things, arguing about reproductive rights and Planned Parenthood and this sort of thing here in 2012?
It's scary.
Given that the majority of men and women in the United States do think women should have access to a full range of family planning services, and that, let's also note that the majority of voters in the United States are women. The majority of voters who then go to the polls are women. I think it's interesting that many of the candidates are discussing these issues as if women didn't vote. And women fundamentally want to protect their families. Diane couldn't have been more clear when we look at what are the key issues in terms of the economy and jobs, but women don't want to be in a position where their basic health needs aren't going to be met. And we're seeing some really clear choices around that.
Do you feel like there's a war on women?
There's a war on women politically right now, absolutely, but in other ways there are as well. You have 1 in 4 women will be or have been victims of domestic violence in their lifetime. Almost 18% of women will be a victim of a rape. I mean, what is going on here? You cannot, no one in their right mind can say there's not a war on women. Maybe they don't think so politically, but when women are not safe in their own homes and communities, that is absolutely, without question, a war on women. And then when we have these white male politicians who are getting up on a national stage and saying absolutely ridiculous and unfounded claims that, you know, women's bodies can shut down rape, and that there's a legitimate rape, and the one that just came out this week that, you know, some women rape easy, and people are saying this. To me, there's absolutely no question at all.
Now, Sylvia, I guess in your business that you work, you deal with a lot of with domestic violence. I guess where are we on domestic violence? Is the trend? I mean, is it getting any better at all? I mean, here we are in 2012, and you're running a whole business that's really based on domestic violence against women.
Right, and what's going on politically under it is that what happens is, for instance, in the higher Caucasian, more money you make, the less they're going to talk about it. So it's something that they don't want to admit is going on in the home. And what I really think is horrible, what's going on in politics, is we shouldn't be mixing. Politics should be about finding jobs. How are we going to help change this world and move this world? It's becoming very sad to me that we're talking about our bodies and women. Politics and bodies shouldn't even be in the same. That disturbs me. That's becoming a political issue even.
Why, does anybody have any ideas? Elizabeth Warren was asked in a debate recently, why have there been no women elected statewide in Massachusetts, save Lieutenant Governor? And she said she's trying to change it, but she said she didn't know. Does anybody know why? Anybody have any ideas?
So many reasons.
Right.
I mean, this is, you know, Massachusetts has a reputation for being one of the most
And listen,
progressive liberal states in the country.
We're doing better than we were. We have Suzanne Baum, who's our state auditor, who's a woman, our attorney general is a woman. But what's really important isn't just why they aren't getting elected, but why does it matter whether they get elected? And what we know is policymakers truly make policy, even good, well-meaning people, out of their life experience. And if you don't have people who have walked in the shoes